I think you should be able to cut that down to something that you like.
Yeah. Welcome back to Drinking with Craig and Roger. I'm Craig.
I'm Roger.
Today we are going back and doing some archaeology. We're breaking out the magnifying glasses and digging deep into our own native roots here. Tell us all about what you've brought.
Well, what we're doing is an American version of the lost Scotch distilleries. And we talked a lot about what happens when the distillery closes.
Check it out up there.
You know, there's still a lot of whiskey left, so it gets sold. Okay.
Yep.
Now, sometimes when the whiskey's sold, that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes another distillery will buy that name and produce whiskey with that name.
Oh, yes. There is a lot of that.
I just happen to have 2 bottles from distilleries which are no longer functioning.
Yep.
The first one is Old Taylor. Okay, now this is in Frankfort, Kentucky, and it was a distillery that was characterized by a castle.
Oh, yes, the castle.
Yes, it's on the label.
The castle. I just happen to have this, and you have one of your own as well. This decanter that actually came from the Old Taylor distillery.
But there's no whiskey in it.
No, it is barren. But
Which means it was made before 1972, which is when they stopped distilling at that castle. They continued to distill in Frankfurt, for a while, and then they stopped producing stuff under the Old Taylor name. And in 2015, Buffalo Trace bought that name.
you may recognize this popular bottle with that gentleman on it, Colonel E.H. Taylor. All right.
But this bottle here,
Yes.
I picked up about 30 years ago
Wow.
from, and it was made in the original location, at least, within the geographical area there.
And you have a photo of yourself there in front of the castle, right? Which was still standing?
Yes, it was. It was in pretty dilapidated condition. Another company has bought it since, and they are refurbishing it to distill, but I don't think they're in operation yet, but maybe they are.
And you, cheeky man, stole a brick.
Oh, you know that. I should have brought the brick.
It was
but
in your shrine. You had a Taylor shrine.
Well,
in
there
your
were
house.
all these bricks laying around that had fallen, so I didn't think it bothered to take a brick. And then the second time we visited, I got a second brick.
All right, excellent work.
Okay, I have to break the seal on this little
Yes.
guy.
Oh man, and this is a true dusty. If I've ever seen one,
dusty.
it is a
well,
dusty.
I don't wipe them off too much, so
No, it's a good thing. I mean, it doesn't get inside the bottle, so
it just sort of sits there in my little shrine with the brick and my photo next to it, and also the castle. Anyway, so this was not, a prestige whiskey,
this is aged 6 years.
but it's aged 6 years,
Not
so it
bad.
should be, pretty good.
It's 80 proof, so it's the minimum. But this was like in its day a standard bourbon.
Standard bourbon.
Pretty standard
Absolutely.
bourbon. Okay,
And it's got a very clean smell.
that it
Nice
does.
nose. A little. What is that? No, it's not.
There's something in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something unique in there. Flavor pops out at me with kind of like baking spices.
Very spicy.
Spicy.
They don't really say what's in it, but I'm going to guess you got a pretty good percentage of rye in this one.
Okay, I could definitely see that. Yeah.
And the finish has a kind of a malty, sweet taste, which is not rye. It's very
A little
mellow.
doughy. I mean,
Yeah.
nutty, a little nutty. It really is reminding me of like a Christmas pastry, you know, like baking spices and nuts and dough. It's pretty good. It's unique. It's unique. There's nothing else being sold right now that I can think of that I've had that tastes like this.
Fairly light body, but full of taste.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
It's pretty nice, though. It's distinct, is what it is.
Oh, it's very nice.
In a day when there's a lot of bourbons that taste very similar, this one, you know, kind of stands out from a lot of what's being made today, I have to say.
Well, it's got a nice thin body.
Do I love the flavor? No, not really.
But it's quite well aged. It's aged enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's a good whiskey.
it has enough age. It's not my favorite flavor profile.
No, I think you'd probably like this better if it were like 92 proof or something.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. So there's Old Taylor.
Thanks for sharing it. You finally cracked this bad boy.
Yeah.
Been sitting on it.
Well, there's no point saving them and never do anything with them.
That's true.
All right. Another distillery that has gone silent is McCormick.
Yes.
And they went silent in the 80s. And when I was in Command and General Staff College, I went to Fort Benning for Command and General Staff College teacher, course. Mm-hmm. And I was able to visit McCormick Distillery the year after they stopped.
That's right.
Distilling. Mm-hmm. And we've already talked about this, and it'll be in this video. We talked about J.B. Holiday, which was their most premium whiskey.
Okay. I remember it being pretty good.
It was fine. So what I have here is a little half pint that I got.
Yeah, that's it. I'm calling this the get drunk and lose your job at work bottle size.
But it is their gold label Missouri Straight Bourbon Whiskey. That's what this is.
Okay.
And
86 proof, so not the very least.
No. And it's aged pretty well. They have, when they stopped distilling, they became a bottler for another company. But in 2015, they have decided to become a distiller again, not with the old stills they've refurbished. So this whiskey is something that will never be made again in the same stills.
Yeah, and it cost you a lot. It's $2.
Well, 30 years ago, $2 went a little farther than it does today.
All right. I believe in you. Go.
I can't get enough strength on this to turn it.
Come on. Look at that face. Oh, excellent work.
Look at that.
I think he broke his hand.
Okay, well, I got it to move. Well, after 30 years, you maybe think it's got a little resistance.
Wow. They don't make them like that anymore.
Come on, get on there. Okay, there we go.
So we shot the JB Holiday, which we're about to show, probably 2.5 years ago, I'd say. Yeah, it was 2.5 years ago. So I can't remember exactly what we said about it, but we were thinking that video is not good enough to put out. No one's going to care. But in a comprehensive video, we can add it in. So that's what we're going to do. So we'll see what we think about this, and then we'll see how much it lines up with
it's got a nice,
what we end up editing from the JB Holiday.
It's a nice, clean smell.
Yeah, pretty unique, yeah. Grape forward, I would say. Reminds me of a Buffalo Trace profile. Is there an age statement on here? I thought I might have seen one, but now I don't know.
Well, it's hard to see it in this light, but it's gold embedded on it.
Now this is very important. It is rare aged. So
it's rarely aged. Okay.
Rarely aged. Yes, I like that. It is rarely aged. So anyway, who knows? Probably less than 4 years.
No, I don't
4
think
or
so.
less.
Well,
certainly less than 6. They would have put 6.
Did you say, yeah.
That's pretty nice.
It's aged well enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
That's a good drink.
It's got a little husk in it.
Yeah, there's something unique in there. Yeah, something a little. Still get that grape profile, kind of like Buffalo Trace, which is really interesting to me. Yeah, there's something there in the end. I like it. That's pretty good.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
And for $2 a half pint, I mean, you know.
You got your $2 worth. That's for sure. This is nice. You know, it wouldn't rock anybody's world today, I don't think. You know, nobody would really be talking about this in videos or anything. You know, there's no...
Well,
it doesn't have a long finish, but it has a surprising finish for how thin of a body it has.
Well, you know, it depends. You know, if you're thinking about, you know, ultra premium whiskeys,
pretty good.
okay, this is not going to taste the same as those. But if it's an everyday drink you want to drink, this is really nice. You know,
it is
really
actually.
nice.
I really like this. I would say, how much would I pay for this? For a standard sized bottle of this today, I would expect to pay
$30.
I'd feel like I got a pretty good deal at $30. I would say I'd put this in the $40 range today.
I would go with it. I think it compares favorably to that Uncle Nearest that we had.
Yeah, It's definitely similar. Yeah, it's in a similar area for sure. Yeah, so right around the $40 range is what I would put this. The Old Taylor, where would we put this today on price?
No, I think high 20s.
High 20s. Old Taylor. You know, actually, when I came back to the Old Taylor off the McCormick, I got even more of a pastry note. It's like butter, kind of buttery, like phyllo dough, flaky, you know, pie crust kind of a thing. It's actually really nice. He says about high 20s is what you would expect to pay for this Old Taylor today, based on what you're tasting.
About the same thing you're going to pay for, say, Jack Daniels, which is going to be in the mid-20s.
Yeah, right around. I'd be pretty happy with it in the mid-20s. I would definitely pay up to, $35 for this. 40's pushing it, but I could definitely see it. So,
well,
it's interesting. It's just, it is still unique. But the McCormick is a nice drink.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's only going to show that, you know, distilleries went out of business when they were producing a really nice product.
That's true. Yeah, distilleries did not go out of, as we've learned from these two-part series, these distilleries did not go out of business because what they were making wasn't good. It was bad business decisions, maybe market climate.
Maybe the equipment, especially in McCormick, was too small to really do it efficiently in the current market and be competitive. So I think that's
good stuff, though.
These
are both good.
Stuff. And I hope the new stuff they're producing will be every bit as good. But it won't be the same as this. So there we go.
So now let's kick it back to our footage from 2.5 years ago, which we haven't released yet, on their premium product. And let's see what we thought of that. Because this was pretty impressive. So here we go.
Here we go.
We're going to look at this BJ Holiday Private Keep, which is their premium whiskey. For those of you who are not familiar, BJ Holiday actually started this distillery in the 1850s, and he was very successful as a distiller, but he also opened a stagecoach station and made a lot of money of travelers going farther west.
Do you think he kept them very well inebriated on their travels, and that's why they kept coming back for repeat business?
Oh, undoubtedly.
That's the only way you could make it through 4 days in a stagecoach.
I would think, yeah. Anyway, but then the distillery was sold to the McCormick family, and later it was bought by MGP, which is across the border in Illinois, and Indiana. And then in the 1990s, it was sold to another private company who are distilling now, and they are just recently started to make some bourbon. Now, I was at this distillery 3 times.
Okay.
former life, when I taught Commanding General Staff College in the reserve component session, I was required that you be at a constructor training course at Fort Leavenworth every 6 years. So I was there in 1986, I was there in 1992, and I was there in 1998.
Okay.
When I came back in 1992, they had just bottled about the last of the stuff they had made with their original stills, and that's when I bought this.
Wow.
I bought it at the store. It cost me $12.49, which was in 1992 not that cheap.
Oh.
But since it's no longer available, its value has gone up. I saw that a bottle of it, just like this, was sold for 66 euros, which is about $100.
Okay. Yeah, pretty good.
And this is 90.5 proof. It's a sour mash, straight Kentucky bourbon whiskey, and they say it's using the same recipe that B.J. Holiday used originally.
Really? Okay. Nice.
And according to what the distiller told me, this was distilled in 1981 and bottled in 1991, so it's about 10 years in the barrel.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to this. This should be good stuff.
I would think so.
And because you've had, you have these, you kept the labels of many of the things you've had, and you had one exact same kind of a thing, but 80 proof in the past. So you wrote down that information, so this is probably the same info. I think it's hilarious that it had a wax seal on a plastic twist-off cap.
Yes, it was. Interesting, is it?
It's like kind of budget, but not. It's good small stuff.
Yeah.
Rich.
All right, so there it is. 28 years in the bottle and 10 years in the cask.
It's not that dark.
No, it's a nice color though, nice orange.
Certainly not a fake. It's not artificially colored.
Oh no,
that's
it's not.
for sure.
There's nothing added.
I'm saying it is kind of light. It does. It kind of has a caramel smell to me, like strong caramel, which is kind of what I got off of the other McCormick that we tried.
Oh yeah, that would be mostly the char in the barrel.
Okay.
Definitely an rather intense smell.
It's not. It's not a. The ethanol's not overpowering at all.
No. So let's try a little bit.
Yeah.
Laid to the very top of the glass, so it's got some
It does.
substance to it.
Yes. It's good.
Very nice, is it not?
It is.
It's
So
not,
this was distilled in 81.
yeah,
81. Nice.
with fairly small stills. And
It's older than I am.
Yes.
It's pretty old.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's that old. I think you're young. I think you're young enough to be my son.
Maybe.
Anyway, but it's
good.
not a real heavy body. But
No,
it's,
not at all.
It's,
And
really
it doesn't have a
nice.
long finish either.
It's not. It doesn't have a real high rye content either. I don't think. I mean, I don't taste this real high spiciness, so it must have
There's
some. There's some, but I mean, not real high like some.
It has a lingering. It doesn't have a lot of spice on up front. It's kind of it has a lingering, nice little spicy burn. Kentucky hug. It has a Kentucky hug, even though it wasn't made in Kentucky.
Now I can tell it's not a 25-year in the barrel, whiskey. It's not.
Oh, no.
But it is very, very nice.
It is. It is. I'm enjoying this. It doesn't. It has a unique flavor.
Further thoughts?
Yes, the name gets sold. The brand gets sold. Old Taylor was sold to Buffalo Trace, and they're producing something, they call it B.H. Taylor, but it's using that name. And the same thing has happened to a rye whiskey called Rittenhouse.
Ah, yes.
Now, Rittenhouse was produced in Pennsylvania. And a long time ago, when I was getting interested in this, I went to a small liquor store in Arcade, Georgia, and I bought a bottle of bottled in bond Rittenhouse that was almost 12 years old. And
Whoa.
I took it home and I sipped on it, and then I went back and I bought them out of every single bottle they had of Rittenhouse.
You loved it.
Oh, yes.
Was it on sale?
No.
You just loved it.
Well, I talked to the guy who was working there, and he said that they had bought out another liquor store that went out of business, and this was part of what they bought. So it had been sitting around for 20 years.
This is something they no longer made, and that's why you bought it out.
That's right. Yeah. It was distilled in 1966 in the fall.
Dang.
It was bottled in the spring of 1978, and I didn't get this until the mid 90s.
Wow.
So it had been sitting around for a while.
Good call.
It was almost a 12-year-old whiskey, bottled in bond. It was great. Well, they went out of business. I think probably because their finances weren't working so well.
Yeah.
And the name got bought up by Heaven Hill.
Aha.
And Heaven Hill
Yes.
is producing Rittenhouse these days in Bardstown, Kentucky. Now, you would hope that if the name is bought and they're trying to produce something under the same name, they would use the same mash bill, they would distill to the same proof, and they would age it in the same kind of barrels so that it would be the same as it was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But they're not.
It is not the same.
The Pennsylvania rye had 60% rye.
Yeah.
And the Heaven Hill Rittenhouse has 51%.
Ooh, definitely different recipes.
So, it's a different recipe. I don't know what else they've done. So they have just basically used the name and produced something that fits within the guidelines.
Right.
But I'm going to bet it's still a fine whiskey.
And you saved the labels from all these old things. So here's some other ones. So you cleaned them out of this bottled in bond strength Rittenhouse and another 94 proof version. I think it was aged 5 years, if I remember correctly.
It was good.
That's
too.
Interesting. Yeah.
It was good too. Yeah.
Yeah, you got them both.
Yeah. In America, it's warmer than Scotland. Things age more quickly. So
Yes.
At least where they're making it.
Yeah.
So 4 to 5, 6, 7 years is fine. So the 12 was terrific.
Yeah. Whoa, you're right. Holy crap. It was 12-year aged rye. Man, you
Well,
almost never even see any 12-year
11 and a
aged
half.
rye.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was like less than $10 a bottle, as I remember. So here's the Rittenhouse.
The modern Rittenhouse.
The current incarnation.
Let's see. You can remember exactly what the other bottles tasted like 30 years ago, right?
Oh, you're pushing me there, but I have a different impression, and this is not quite as heavy.
Nothing not to like there. That's a rye.
Yeah.
That is red hots, like cinnamon red hots.
Yeah. Cinnamon. Yeah. No. This is compared to the Pennsylvania as I remember it. The body is much lighter, which means this was distilled to a higher proof as well, and then watered down to 100 proof. I'm not unhappy with this whiskey.
No, it's still a really good, and it's still a fantastic value. Rittenhouse Rye is definitely a fail-proof go-to rye. Great for mixing and perfectly good on its own.
Yeah.
Nothing not to like there.
And it's bottled in bond. If you can get the bottle in bond. We'll talk more about this in another video, but when it says bottled in bond, it's at least 4 years old.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
that is an
means
age
it's
statement.
been aged enough, to be good.
And especially for a rye, 4 years is, rye ages faster than bourbon, so.
Now, if it says bottled in bond, 100 proof, and it costs $300, maybe that's not a good value. I don't know, but anyway.
It won't be in my cabinet. But yeah, they're keeping the name going, even though neither the formula nor the distillery exist anymore.
Thank you, Heaven Hill, for producing something like this, which is different than some of your other products.
Okay.
When distilleries go out of business, it's not because they haven't produced a pretty nice product. It's because of finances. And, if you find some, or you buy one that goes out,
Yeah.
then
And steel a brick.
you've got a nice product. And so if somewhere you're looking at a liquor store and you look on the bottom shelf and there's a dusty old bottle that says something, and you might consider it as something to buy. But that's what we can say.
Yep. And if you like what we're doing, give us a like. Please subscribe if you want to see more, because we never know what we're going to do. It could be anything next. And leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought. Have you had any of these or had any other defunct distilleries that need remembrance? And if there's anything else you want to see, just let us know. So until next time, cheers.
Cheers.